is still in the news. After the tragic passing of Kevin Samuels, there's a lot of conversation and some degree of speculation about whether or not the high value man actually had money or not. I'm going to actually talk about whether or not Kevin Samuels was broke and just the whole nature of what I'm saying. You guys know money and finance is my thing, so I'm going to break some of this down. So get comfortable, buckle up your seatbelt. We're going to get started on drboystv.com right now.
Here we are, clearing the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones too late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm a guy that believes in what you call the B1 philosophy. B1 means we're a Black first. Black first means we put our community at the top of the priority list. Black first means we educate our kids. Black first means we teach wealth to our children so they're not destitute. If you agree with this philosophy, put a hashtag B and the number 1 in the chat. Hashtag B1 in the chat. And I want to say good morning to everybody. Hello to everybody. Shout out the name of your city in the chat. I see Danny Lee and Kelvin and Imelda, Ellis, and everybody else. Carrie, Big Soft, and Free My Grandma. That's funny. All right, so let me just kind of jump in and just tell you guys what I wanted to talk about today. You guys know I'm into all things financial. I mean, my PhD is in finance, so I can't help it. When I hear a financial conversation happening in the Black community, I feel that maybe there's some nuance and perspective that can be provided to help us understand things better. Give me a yes or no in the chat. Yes or no. How many of you have heard this sort of ongoing discussion / rumor / whatever about Kevin Samuels possibly being broke? Give me a yes in the chat if you've heard any of this conversation, any of this internet chatter. Apparently that's the big chatter now, that Kevin Samuels had no money. Kevin Samuels was pretending to be a high value man and everything else. Has anybody seen any of this? And why does it matter? I think it matters a lot because Kevin Samuels was a guy who did, he talked a lot about a lot of other people, and a lot of people talked about him. And I think that Kevin understands why conversations like this are going to happen. When you're in the public eye, you kind of take an oath. You kind of accept the fact that people are going to talk about you because that's what you want. You want people talking about you. And then the thing is, I observed Kevin Samuels' career, when he was sort of doing his thing, and he was very good at it. And a lot of people don't know this, but before he blew up, he tried for years to blow up. He was trying for years, trying different things and different images and different styles. And he finally found the one that stuck, the one that worked. But if you go back, his YouTube channel is several years old. So Kevin, Kevin understands the nature of the game. And so here's what's interesting, right? And this is something that I really wanted to talk about it because I really think the internet doesn't have a lot of balance right now. I think that you have these weird conversations happening where you've got, millions of men who just, who have no problem saying anything about Black women. They say it under the guise of holding them accountable. And I don't agree with that. I think that you can hold people accountable without being an asshole about it. And the same thing is true with, you have millions of women. You have a lot of women that literally are stepping on a dead man's grave. They're literally peeing on his grave. And it's only making you look worse. You're only fulfilling, you're only kind of behaving in the stereotypical fashion that somebody like Kevin might have pointed out. You act like a ragamuffin when you're out here celebrating a man's death. It makes you look sad and ridiculous, right? It shows no class. And I can tell you, men, seriously, if men out here, do not marry a woman who celebrates the death of a man who disagrees with her, because that's not a good person. That is not a good woman. So really, at the end of the day, remember, the world is divided between what I believe to be people that try to be good people and people who try to be bad people, because maybe the bad people have been hurt. So they feel like, if I got to be bad to you before you're bad to me. And that's where the gender war is locked up. That's where the gender war is. A lot of y'all are not participating in the gender war. Shout yourselves out. Say me or something if you're not participating in this gender war. If you're a Black woman who loves Black men, who loves the hell out of us despite our flaws, say me in the chat, say yes in the chat. If you are a black man who loves black women, despite the challenges that come with all of us being descendants of slaves, we're all ADOS, right? Shout yourselves out in the chat, because I think that what has to happen is that the people who are in the gender war need to be isolated from the people who are not in the gender war. The people in the gender war are people who are hurt, who unfortunately have allowed their pain to make them toxic. It might be a little girl who's mad because her daddy was never around, so therefore all of her problems are linked to black men, or maybe she's fallen into white feminism that told her that the black man is the reason for everything that's wrong in your life. And it may be the black man who's mad because maybe his baby mama took his child away, or maybe he's mad at his mother because his mother was mean to him, or maybe he's mad because his daddy wasn't around, so he says, well, you shouldn't date single mothers because single mothers got them raggedy ass kids. When he was a raggedy ass kid 15, 20 years ago, right? But yeah, for some reason he thinks those kids don't deserve love. Like, seriously, those are the people that are in the gender war. The people that are in the gender war are, in my opinion, unfortunately, you have to be careful, because you can become what I call an emotional zombie. Zombies, you think about zombie movies, people get bitten by another zombie and then they catch the zombie virus. People who are full of toxicity, people who haven't overcome their trauma. Black people are very high on the trauma scale. When you look at the ACEs trauma test, adverse childhood experiences, Black people tend to score very high on the trauma scale. And so trauma creates drama. And so ultimately you got the people that live in the middle of the drama. They swim in the drama. They like it. They get in the ocean. They get in the poison water and they just swimming in it, swallowing the water, taking it all in, because that's where they operate best. And if there isn't poison in the water, they don't feel comfortable. They don't feel good in fresh water, clean water, healthy water. They want to be in the poisonous water. Almost like I had a relative who was such an alcoholic that if you gave him health food, he would get sick. If you gave him vegetables, he would get sick. You needed to give him liquor in order for him to feel normal. You need to give him heroin in order for his body to function properly. Like, that's what you have sometimes. You have a sickness in the spirit of your community that comes out in your relationships. I see all this happening because I'm watching what goes on the internet. So with that said, let me jump into this. Hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, share, subscribe. So here's the deal with Kevin Samuels in this conversation about whether or not Kevin Samuels had any money. I've seen people do entire podcasts basically almost celebrating this report, which I'm going to give you the nature of the report and where it came from and what my thoughts are in terms of what they're trying to say here. They're celebrating like, this so-called high value man only had $1,000 in his bank account. And when I heard that, I was like, really? That would be very surprising to me. So I looked at the nature of the report. It came from Media Takeout. Media Takeout is not a legitimate news organization. Media Takeout is not ABC News. Media Takeout, they're not even, Black Enterprise or BET. Media Takeout is not an organization that is known for journalistic integrity. I'm sorry, they're known for rumors. There's a lot of bias in the media in terms of how you can almost tell. This is the weird thing to me. Again, maybe I'm revealing how, my age now, because I'm 51. I'm not 22. But I remember a time where reporters told the truth, where reporters had to actually triple, quadruple check their sources and make sure they were right on point with everything they said. You don't really have that anymore. I saw News One, another Black organization. I used to write for News One a decade ago. I don't write for them anymore. But I was very surprised when the title of their story about Kevin Samuels' death was something like, it said something like it said something in the title about him being misogynist. And I said, how in the hell are you going to put that in a title? Like, that's just your opinion of this guy. You're not supposed to do that when you're a journalist. I get it if you feel that way. I get it if he rubbed you the wrong way, but journalists aren't supposed to do that, right? So this is what you got here. You've got a world full of quack journalism, a world full of bias, tremendous amounts of bias, where people are just kind of saying whatever they want to say, and then people run with it like that's a real report. Media Takeout is not a news organization. Media Takeout, I looked at a little bit of the story. It looks like they quoted a friend of the family to say, oh, well, Kevin only had $1,000 in his bank account and they're doing a GoFundMe for him. Let me ask y'all a question. Give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no. If I went to I want you to think of a random friend that you have. Think of your homeboy or your girl that you might go out to drinks with. And let's say, God forbid, you died tomorrow. Let's say you died tomorrow. And then somebody went to your random friend, your random ass friend that you have drinks with once a month, and said, so what was the state of her finances. How much money did Glenda Murphy McCrae have in the bank when she died? How much wealth did she have? What was her net worth? How many of y'all, give me a yes or no? How would you be able to answer that question accurately or honestly? Give me a yes or no. Would you be able to answer that question accurately or honestly if you died, God forbid, I hope everybody lives forever, but you ain't. You're not gonna live forever. That's why you need life insurance. If you died tomorrow, would your homegirl or would your dude, your man, Christopher Wright, would your man be able to give an accurate portrayal of where your net worth is, how much money you have in the bank account, how much real estate you might own, what your net worth might be, how much you have in your stock portfolio, how many stock portfolios you have, whether or not you have a trust in place, whether or not you have life insurance? Would your random friend be able to share that with information accurately? Well, the answer is probably no for 99.9% of you. Most of y'all don't really tell everybody all your economic business. And remember, there's an old adage in business. I think Rory Douglas was a good brother. I'm gonna meet him real soon. I like this guy a lot. He has a saying that he uses in a lot of his commentary where he says, own nothing but control everything. That means kind of, that wealthy people as an asset protection mechanism tend to not put assets in their name. They put things in trusts, or they put things in under LLCs or other entities. They put things in other names so that if they get sued or if something goes wrong, those assets are protected. Now, I'm not sitting there saying this is what was going on with Kevin. I'm simply trying to tell you the honest truth. And y'all don't know shit about Kevin's money. You don't know nothing about where this man was financially. And I just really think it's really weird when people are like, oh, but this just proves he ain't got no money. This proves that he was faking. He ain't no high value man. Well, first of all, this is where I didn't agree entirely with Kevin Samuels anyway. To the extent that anybody would ever believe that having money makes you a high value man, period, that's just flat out wrong. I told you that, ladies, be careful when you're chasing these men that got money. I've had money a long time. I know men that got money. There are men with money that will ruin your damn life. There are men with money who will beat you, slap you, rape you, steal from you, con you, break your heart, do harm your children. Like, seriously, like this idea that somehow high value is determined by wealth is just absolutely crazy anyway. And I'm not here to summarize or characterize or paraphrase what Kevin believed. I don't watch a lot of internet videos, to be honest with you. Even the video Kevin did when he did a whole show talking about me, the entire show, I didn't even see that show. I promise you I didn't even see it. If you asked me what was in it, I would not know, because I don't absorb and consume and suck in some of this nonsense on the internet. I get on the internet to learn. I get on the internet to watch videos that will make me smarter. I get on the internet to learn, to get more information. I don't get on the internet to get involved in some of this ridiculousness and chaos that's going on. It's stupid to me, to be honest with you. I don't. Not that Kevin stuff was stupid. I'm just saying, I'm sure whatever he said was okay. I saw about 2 minutes of the video and I was like, oh, this guy seems pretty smart. That was at that time. I didn't even know who he was at the time. But honestly, I'm telling you guys, the internet studies show, again, my wife is a therapist. They do research on this. Studies show that too much time on social media as a consumer it depresses you. It fucks up your mental health. It makes you bitter. They manipulate your emotions. You are a lab rat in Mark Zuckerberg's big experiment. They literally will throw stuff out there just to see what emotional reaction you have. So I encourage you to be very conscious of how much social media you take in. And if it starts to bother you, you get in a Twitter fight with somebody and y'all throwing words back and forth and y'all hurting each other's feelings, just disconnect, walk away from that conversation and go start living the rest of your life. That's really important. All right, so let me keep going. Hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. And I want to remind everybody, don't forget that this week, next Sunday, my wife and I are doing a generational wealth event in Chicago. We're going to talk about basically drama-free lifestyles, drama-free finances, drama-free relationships. That's what we're all about. That's what we're talking about now. So if you want to join us, feel free to go to boyceandalicia.com, or you can go to boycewatkins.com and just click on the events link and you can find it right there if you'd like to join us. There probably won't be any tickets at the door. We're almost sold out, but if you buy your ticket online, then we will honor that. Okay. So let me keep going. So basically media takeout speculating on Kevin Samuels' economic situation is a little bit fishy to me. The other thing you got to be cautious about is that a lot of these media outlets have an agenda. Most major media outlets, going to, no disrespect to Shade Room, but Shade Room Media Takeout, but then also you talk about other platforms like News One or The Grill, or especially The Root. Many of them are on a gay feminist agenda. That's what, honestly, that's the best way I can describe it. And again, this does not mean that everything Kevin Samuels said was copacetic. I told you guys some of the issues, some of the areas I had a problem with. Right? I think that there are ways you can give your opinion about how you feel about women in relationships without telling people they're going to die alone. I think that when you're talking about somebody's love life, I think that there are so many variables that have to be considered. You have to have a more intelligent, more thoughtful conversation about it, because who am I to tell you that nobody's going to want you because you're 38 years old? That's the craziest shit I've ever heard. I can tell you, I don't know if I'm a high value man or not. I know that I was rich and famous, so maybe that makes me some kind of high value man to somebody. And I can tell you that there was a time in my life where I refused to date a woman under the age of 35. I kid you not, when I was in my 40s, I was like, I'm not dating a woman under 35 because I want a grown ass woman. I want a grown up. I want a woman who is intelligent enough to relate to what I'm talking about. I want a woman who is who has lived a little bit of life, so she has some experience. She's not a crazy little kid who's overly entitled. I want a woman who, maybe if she has a child, maybe she's learned how to care about somebody other than herself, which tends to make her a better person. Actually, again, and what I'm saying to you guys is that that when people get into these one-dimensional, like on-off switches when it comes to dating, like if he don't make this much money, do not date him, girl. That's not, you're not going to get success in relationships because you're not even thinking thoroughly about this very important decision you're about to make. Or if somebody like, well, don't date a woman with kids. What's wrong with kids? You used to be a kid, Negro. Like, seriously, you were a kid and you had a single mama. Like just think for a second and say, what if a man, what if you went 25, 30 years back in my life and a man was saying the same thing about my mama that some of y'all are saying about single mothers? How would you feel? It would probably hurt your feelings. It would probably be like, damn, like, what's wrong with me? Because your ass 5 years old, your daddy's gone. You looking at every man that walks through the door saying, are you my daddy? That's who you were 20 years ago. And these guys are walking in saying, no, I'm here to get me some pussy, and then I'm going to bounce out of here. I'm getting out of here. I don't want nothing to do with these little motherfuckers. Like, come on, man. Like this, what cartoon character of a community do we have where we have people talking like this on massive platforms? It's absolutely insane to me. And I just really think that all intelligent Black people need to save up our money and go buy an island and just go to that island and date each other and hang out with each other, because some of this shit is stupid to me. Some of it is, I'm sorry, I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm trying to be careful because I know that I have a lot of education, so I don't want to be disrespectful to people who don't have that same level of thinking. But my Lord Jesus, like, come on, man. Can't you at least aspire to have a more thoughtful conversation about something as important as Black reproduction? Well, you don't date somebody under 35 because that's the leftovers. That's the old chicken. That's the cold chicken in the refrigerator. Don't nobody want the cold chicken. That's like a rotten egg. You like spoiled milk, girl. You 38 years old. Ain't no 38-year-old ever look good in the history of all 38-year-olds. Come on, man. Give me a damn break. So anyway, let me keep going. Hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. Y'all know how I get. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. I know some people in here are pissing in the comments, but I don't give a shit. I don't care. All right, so let me keep going. All right. So so here's another thing about Kevin and the net worth thing. The reason I was offended by people speculating on his net worth, or not offended, but kind of disturbed by it, is really, you don't know nothing about this man's money. You don't know nothing about where he is financially. You don't know where he was at economically. I would find it very hard to believe. We at the very least know that you can never say that he didn't have income, right? You can't say that. His YouTube channel, when you get a channel that big, when you have 1.4 million subscribers and you have hundreds of thousands of people watching your channels every day, that's going to be at least 6 figures, maybe 7 figures on your YouTube channel alone. On top of that, Kevin Samuels was a very well-known figure. So that means, you're talking about And again, I'm speaking partly in my own life. This is what I have seen myself. And I wasn't. I mean, my channel is as big as Kevin's. I mean, I got one channel with 400 something thousand subscribers, another one with about 300 something thousand. But I never had 1.4 million, right? Because I appeal to a slimmer demographic. I offend quite a few people, and some people I don't want on my channel anyway. I want intelligent Black people, which means I'm not going to appeal to the masses. But even in my space. When you are out there, you do have income earning opportunities, right? And so I would be stunned if Kevin was just a guy who wasn't bringing in money. I would fully suspect that his income was probably quite high, But here's the thing. Here's the other piece of that. This is why you can't go too far with that assumption. Remember, income is not the same as wealth. And also, income is like, if you think about basketball, income is like offense. Right? Think about a basketball team that has a lot of offense. So let's say you have a team like the Golden State Warriors. They say we score 115 points a game, right? And someone says, well, that means they must have won every game because they score 115 points a game. Well, no, they could have lost every game if the opposition scored 130 points a game. Do you understand? So if they have no defense, if they don't defend their offense, then they're still not going to win no matter how many points they score. So your income is your offense. Your expenses are kind of like the defense. And so one of the things that I would say is that when I looked at Kevin's life, and I wasn't really sure, and again, this is all my speculation, Kevin, what the things I observed and based on his commentary and based on the imagery and things like that is it's not cheap to be an image consultant because you always have to maintain the image. Part of the reason that I never worked hard to maintain images is because I don't want to do that front. I told you a lot of Black college graduates. I'm not saying Kevin's in this category. I'm really talking about you. I told you guys I might talk about the celebrities and the famous people, but really, you're the ones I care about. You're the hero in this story, in my view. You're the ones that I want to turn this back to because you're the ones that matter, not the people on the internet. But there are lots of Black college graduates who went to great schools, who have lots of degrees, who eventually go broke because they maintain a certain image. Many of them struggle financially because they took on all the student loan debt, and then every time they go to dinner, they're always paying for it. They're always driving the Bentley or the Benz or the Beamer. They're always dressed to the nines. They have to always maintain a certain kind of apartment or certain kind of house, and so a lot of them end up with a negative net worth. So you'll see where this person has an income of $300,000 a year, but they're spending $310,000 a year, and they still got $300,000 in student loans that they've never repaid, right? And if they've never really sort of doubled down on substantial asset accumulation, meaning ownership of home, ownership of real estate, ownership of stocks and bonds, significant investment in the 401k and things like that, or maybe the building of a business and a side hustle, then they don't have the assets to kind of balance against these massive expenses and the significant liability. So what is my point? My point is to say, again, at the end of the day, none of y'all really know exactly where Kevin stood financially. I'm going to stick by that point. But if there was any sort of debt accumulation as a result of, how expensive it is to wear, I don't wear Rolexes. I got this. My wife gave me this watch, and she probably spent less than $300 for it. You're not going to see me wearing no Gucci. I don't wear that European shit. I'm not going to wear a white man's brand on my ass and have it somehow convince me that I'm a better human being. Do you know Bernard Arnault, who started Louis and all that stuff? Do you know he's worth over $100 billion? And he gets most of his money because rappers are the number one promoters of his brand. And he don't even like y'all black asses. So I'm not going to wear a label of somebody who doesn't even like me, who wouldn't even want me in his house. What kind of ridiculous slave thinking is that, right? So wearing that fancy European stuff it's costly, and also it's just a little bit weird. Honestly, I really think as a people we really might want to reconsider that. At least if you like the designer brands, try to find some designer brands that are black owned, or at the very least do it with some sort of moderation, or at least do some self-reflection. This is where I love being married to a black woman who's a therapist, because she actually will explain to you that there is a deep-seated psychological reason that you feel the need to have a white man brand your ass in order for you to feel better about yourself as a human being. There is a whole set of theories. There are 1,000 research papers stacked to the ceiling that I could go find for you that explains why poor people or new money, y'all know I'm talking about new money, people ain't never had no money, are the quickest to go get the Gucci and the Louis and the Prada and the Fendi and all whatever that other crap is that costs a whole lot of money. It's because deep down they claim that because you feel like you're not quite good enough, you get those things so that others will believe that you're good enough. There was a good episode on A Different World that everybody should watch, where Whitley Gilbert, who's like this kind of bougie black lady, goes into the store, and this white lady acts like she can't afford it. She's like, well, you need to get out of here. And so to prove this white lady wrong, to prove that she belonged, she went and spent like all her money. She maxed out her whole credit card at the store just to prove this lady was wrong. And I think it was Sister Soldier who explained to her, like, no, you don't give people your money. She was making a guest appearance. So she said, look, you don't give people your money to prove that you're as good as they are. They don't deserve your money. And so Whitley went back and got a refund. And that was a great episode they did on that show. And also there's another video called How to Sell to the Negro that was done by Ebony Magazine in the 1950s. And one of the things that they said about black people is they said, because they do a lot of work to study how to get your money, how to get you to spend big money. And they said that black people will spend money just to prove that they're equal to white people. That basically if you act like they can't afford it, they'll go out of their way to prove that they can, because they want to get that status and that respect, right? So this is one of the reasons why I would encourage you to think twice about being overly committed to to those high level brands. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying there's something wrong with you if you like a Coach purse or a nice pair of Gators or whatever it is that you want to wear. My wife has a Coach purse, right? We so I can't tell. We have cars. Our cars will be defined as luxury cars, right? But at the end of the day, it's about moderation. We're not going to go buy that luxury car with our last $2. We're going to save and invest first. And then whatever's left, it's like, okay, let's go get something nice or whatever, right? Okay, so anyway, let me keep going. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. Also, I want to remind everybody, in case you're not aware, the Black Business School, you can join the Black Business School for free, by the way, in case you're not aware of that. And also, if you want to join, we have a Powernomics training that I do every Wednesday. Every Wednesday night, we're reading the book Powernomics by Dr. Claude Anderson. It is totally 100% free to the community. I encourage you to bring your children, bring your family, bring your wife and kids, bring everybody, because our whole community needs to be educated on this stuff. White people are not going to do it, but that's okay, because you got some intelligent black people out here who will lay it down for you in every single way. So feel free, if you're interested, go to boycewatkins.com. Just click on the link for the Black Business School. You can get started for free. Or if you're watching on Instagram, hit the link in the bio. Okay, so with Kevin Samuels, again, so we established, number one, media takeout's full of crap. They're I'm sorry if y'all watching, but the media takeout, The Root, News One, the way they covered his death was wrong. It was heavily agenda driven, which lets people know that you're kind of on a real heavy bias in terms of your reporting, which is incredibly problematic, because there are lots of black people who are rightfully offended by this sort of propaganda smear. And this is one of the things that the left has always done. They love to smear people who they disagree with. So because Kevin had a narrative that was a little bit different, rather than objectively trying to understand this perspective or to understand why 1.4 million people subscribe to his channel, they just want to write it off as ignorance, misogyny, stupidity, whatever. I'm not saying that there wasn't some of that there. I'm not saying that there weren't some things there to be deeply offended by. I've told you guys some things that bothered me, and people, maybe, I don't know how they feel about it, but I've got to tell you the truth. But I can say this, though. I know a lot of people who were fans of Kevin, who listened to his stuff, who were good people, who are truly trying to do what's right. I know a lot of people who heard him and said, man, I'm just glad somebody's speaking up on how we feel as black men, because nobody cares about how we feel. Everybody tells us that we're wrong. Everybody tells black women that they can do no wrong and that they're perfect just the way they are, and blah, 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 blah. And that's just not true. Whereas we're always being corrected. We're always being told that we're too masculine, or we're too toxic, or we're too this and we're too that, or we don't want to commit and we don't blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I can tell you, as a black man who's been dating, who's been in the dating pool, some of y'all women are really fucked up. Excuse my French. I'm not talking about all of you. I'm not talking about a lot of the women that are here. I'm not talking about the intelligent black women who are trying to do what's right. But y'all know what I'm talking about. The women know that some of these women are messed up. The women are the first ones to know some of these women's heads are screwed on backward, right? And think that their shit don't stink. And so ultimately, when you see this kind of vitriol coming out where people are literally dancing on this man's grave and peeing on it at the same time, it's actually proving his point. Right? It's making it clear that, yeah, there are some people who, because of significant mental health issues they developed as a child, significant pain they experienced because Black people are high on the trauma scale, maybe because of something that happened with their daddy when they were 5, they grew up literally having a very hard time accepting the idea that a Black man might be a decent human being who's trying to do the right thing. So what you're saying really in the whole Kevin Samuels gender war thing, or not even Kevin Samuels, I'm not gonna put that on him, but the gender war in general is you're seeing hurt feelings hurting other feelings. Like, my feelings are hurt, so I think Black women are this and this and this. And she said my feelings are hurt because Black men did this and this to me. Well, really, all y'all really need therapy. Like, everybody needs therapy. I really, really believe that, and I hope you will take it to heart, because all of us go through things that hurt our feelings, and we all get tempted to say, man, you know what? Dang, nice guys always finish last. Well, man, I ain't gonna be no nice guy because these women don't like nice guys. I need to learn how to be a jerk. I need to learn how to act like the rappers and disrespect women and blah 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 blah. And because you see that. Think about this. This is white supremacy. White supremacy does this. They elevate these men who have zero respect for women. I mean, I'm not dissing them or anything, and I'm a little too close to home because I'm friends with some of the rappers and stuff. But think about it. Snoop Dogg got famous. What was Snoop Dogg's most famous line? Somebody write in the chat. What was Snoop Dogg's most famous line that made him into an international icon? Way back in the day. Some of y'all may not be old enough to remember this. What was his most famous line? We don't love them hoes. Right? And y'all thought that was the coolest thing in the world. But think about that. You're literally building your whole career off of the idea that you just don't respect women. Especially, and you're a Black man, that means you don't respect Black women. That Black women are not worthy of love and respect. And that is about as genocidal of an ideology as you can have. Because remember, the Black woman is the cradle of civilization. Her womb is the cradle of all humanity. And you're literally saying, we don't love them hoes. We have no respect for that which is sacred. Not every woman is sacred. Not every woman is a queen. I don't care. I know people like to do this whole, like, you a queen, you a king. Now, I think you have to earn that status. If you call everybody a queen, everybody a king, and they ain't got to earn it, it doesn't mean anything. Every Black woman ain't no queen. But when you have women that have really done their absolute best to carry themselves in a way that is uplifting and supportive of the Black community, that has saved the Black man at every turn, that has really been there for us, starting with our mothers and going into all the women that helped you along the way. What's wrong with honoring that? Why is honoring that? Why does honoring that somehow make you a simp now? That's the craziest, most ridiculous line of thinking I've ever seen in my life. And I really just kind of think, as a community, those who actually care, those who are intelligent enough to understand what I'm saying, those who care enough, you have to really kind of challenge, or at least divert or walk away from that little boy talk. That's real bad little boy talk out there. So ultimately what I would say is that, circling back, when you talk about this core issue that we started off talking about, this whole speculation about Kevin and his money and everything else, I don't think there's any way to know what Kevin's true financial situation is. I think that those who are assuming that he's broke, you're probably you could easily be wrong. You don't know if he's broke or not. In finance, there's that saying, you own nothing, or you own nothing and control everything. So a lot of times people that have assets do not put their assets in their own name. So you don't know what Kevin's financial situation is. I think that's almost irrelevant, to be honest with you. Either his advice was good or it was bad. I don't think he necessarily had to be on top of the world financially for him to share good information. Sometimes a person who's less than perfect can give you the best information out there. I learned a lot of my best lessons from people who were not perfect people, but also those of you who swear up and down, who are just on the defensive, to swear that Kevin was definitely doing well. He was definitely balling out of control. He was definitely on top of his money game. You don't know either. It is very easy to pretend that you are doing well financially. It is very easy to show up wearing the nicest suit and the fanciest watch and have the nicest car And a lot of you, some of you, especially sometimes, men can fool women with this, right? With the nicest of everything. Some people think that, okay, he must have money because he's got a pocket full of cash, nice clothes, and a nice car. What I see when I see a $10,000 watch and a $80,000 car and a $5,000 suit is I see debt. I see significant financial liability. I start thinking, wow, you have to make a lot of money to make up for all the money you have to spend to maintain whatever all this is. And when you get into that trap, and this is why I encourage you to be careful, and I ain't even gonna talk about some of the bad habits we can get into as men. Just one bad habit as men. The 4 habits that take a man down are very simple. You can write this down. This will save your life. Sex, not being responsible with sex, letting too many jump offs in your bedroom who might, falsely accuse you of rape or give you a disease or have your baby or whatever. Sex, drugs will drain you. I've seen people make $10 million a year go broke over drugs. So again, I've heard the rumors and the speculation about Kevin and drugs. I'm not even going to talk about that until it's confirmed. If it's confirmed, y'all know me. I'll talk about whatever I want to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about that until unless it's confirmed. Drugs, alcohol. That's another thing. If you become the old drunk uncle, your kids won't respect you. Nobody will look up to you. You're going to look like a complete bum. So be careful when they promote alcohol to your community. Malcolm X used to say that the white man will sell you the liquor bottle and then lock you up for being drunk. And then the last one is gambling. Antoine Walker made $110 million a year. Not per year. I'm sorry, total over his career. So his contracts were like $8 to $10 million per year. So he made more money than Kevin Samuels, than me, than a lot of us, right? But even Antoine Walker went broke partly because his gambling addiction was that bad. When you are a heavy gambler, what it does is you get to the point where you have to bet more money in order for you to feel the effects of the gambling, for you to get the dopamine rush of that win. And gambling addictions are one of those things where I would encourage you, do not marry somebody who is too heavily involved in gambling or drugs or can't control their sexual habits or has an issue with alcohol. I'm not saying that sex is bad. Sex is great. Sex is awesome. But going too far with it or thinking you have to sleep with every girl with a big butt and a smile, that will eventually lead to serious financial problems or and other problems as well. So ultimately, what I would say is that if any of these factors popped in terms of Kevin's life, if there was a debt issue, a child support issue, if there was a drug issue, and again, I'm not saying that there was, if there was anything like that, then all bets are off the table. Doesn't matter how much money you're making on YouTube. Doesn't matter how much money you're making from speaking engagements. Doesn't matter how much money you're making from business ventures. All that gets wiped away when you don't have the discipline to protect the assets that you have. And again, I'm not making the assumption that this was Kevin's life. I'm just saying that if you're jumping out saying, oh, I know for sure that he was doing well, you might want to reconsider that position because there's a good chance that you could be wrong. Okay. The last piece I would throw in here is this. This is and actually before I move on, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe to the channel. You can go to BoyceWatkins.com if you want to check out some of the stuff we have going on. Like we have financial workbooks for children and stuff like that. So if you want to teach your kids about wealth, I developed these workbooks with some other experts. So feel free to go to BoyceWatkins.com. There's a lot of good stuff there that you guys can check out that'll help you. The last piece. So this so-called friend of Kevin says the family only found $1,000 in the bank account, and they're looking to do the GoFundMe. Again, it's media takeout. Unless you show more evidence, I'm just not going to believe you because anybody could say an anonymous friend said this or whatever, right? And again, because media is so heavily agenda-driven, you have to take everything with a grain of salt, good and bad. So we don't know if that's true or not, but let's assume that it was the case. Let's assume that they went to the accounts and they only found $1,000, which I don't even know how they even got into the accounts. I mean, think about it. I'm asking y'all this question, yes or no? If you died tomorrow, because you could die, right? Would your relatives be able to even get into your bank account? Do they even have your passwords to get into your bank account? Could they go to the bank? I mean, maybe eventually somebody could show a death certificate, right, and get in, but they can't. I mean, that's my thought. It's like, wait a minute, the man just passed a couple of days ago. How are people getting in his bank account already, right? But either way, let's assume that they did. Let's assume that somebody was close enough where they got into the account and they only found $1,000. I mentioned earlier, a lot of assets could be out of his name, but now there is a process of trying to figure out where the money's at, right? And again, I don't know what Kevin's process is or what he had in place. I have no idea. I'm not going to speculate on that. I'm really talking about you. What I want you to do in terms of how you can learn from this, you can learn from everything you see in life and everything you see in death as well. Ask yourself, how could people that are close to me find out where my assets are? A lot of you, because I hear a lot of you talking. A lot of you have been following this channel for a while, and I see you. You're investing. You've got a stash account here. You got an Acorn account here. You got a Coinbase account here. You got a bank account here, an LLC bank account over there. You got some real estate over there. Could any one person even go find all of your assets? Could it? And this is one of the things. This is where I end up rubbing, kind of inserting myself into the manosphere a little bit, because I'm a man and I am, I'm comfortable with my manhood. Is I'm going to step in and kind of say, this is where you can't necessarily get caught up in people convincing you that you should live the single life until you're 70. This is why when you're like 25 years old, you can't live at 60 like you did at 25, because if you die, that wife of yours or those people that are close to you, those children, whatever it is, those people you've poured into, those are the ones who are going to hold it down for you when it comes to looking into your estate and making sure that the assets get to where they're supposed to get to. When you're a single person with no meaningful connections with anyone else, you have no relationship you've poured into, not even a close friend that knows your specific situation or knows what to do in the event of your death. Well, it's really, do you know that billions of dollars in assets get lost like that every year? Did y'all know that? Well, I sat with my estate planning attorney for 6 hours. Me and my wife went all the way down to South Side Chicago, sat with the attorney for 6 hours. And one of the things that he mentioned that was really interesting was he said, people think that there's some universal database you can go to find out where somebody's assets are. He said, there is no database. He said, I have families come in saying, well, I know that cousin Rerun had money. I know Pookie has some money somewhere. Can we go find it? And he's like, how? I don't know how to find it. Did Pookie leave a document? Did he put any information anywhere that allows me to know where to go to find out where his assets are actually located? No. I mean, sure, maybe an accountant can help. Maybe the IRS can help. There might be some things you can do, but the truth of the matter is that billions of dollars get lost in the Black community every year because people don't even plan for their death. And so one of the small benefits of things like marriage and family, I'm not telling everybody to do it because it's hard. It takes work. If you're not ready to do the work, don't do it. Seriously, if you're not ready to really pour into your family and your marriage, do not try it, because do not try this at home unless you are prepared and skilled and ready to do the damn do. You might be better off being single. So it's okay to be single. I respect that. But one of the benefits of having marriage and family is that you have this person, assuming you pick correctly, you have this person next to you where you can go through with them the step-by-step plan, and you can say, okay, baby, if I told my wife, I said, okay, if something happens to me, I want you to go here. I want you to call this person and that person and go and look in this file and go check over here, because that's where all the money's at. This is where the life insurance is at. This is where the trust is at. This is where the real estate information is. This is where the bank accounts are. This is where you can get all the information you need. You have to do that, because here's the problem. If you die and you got a baby mama or something who's not a wife, not only is she going to get treated like a second-class citizen in the hospital when she's trying to visit you and cry by your bedside, but she's not going to get any respect at all or support at all when it's time for her to try to get access to your money to even pay the rent. You might be holding it down big time in life, but you can't do nothing in death. You can't come back and sign a document or make a phone call if you're a dead man. And it happens all the time. And so when I see, a scenario where someone dies alone, like Kevin did, he died with a lady he met 24 hours earlier. I see that as a great opportunity for young people to kind of learn that every choice you make in life has a bright side and a dark side. Every choice you make has a pro, it has a con. Every choice you make has a benefit, it has an expense. And so what you're seeing there, in my view, in my opinion, is the nightmare scenario of a 57-year-old man dying of a heart attack in the arms of a woman he doesn't even know, and then people not really, at least to my knowledge, having anybody close enough to even know where to access his assets to make sure his family can benefit from the extraordinarily impactful legacy that Kevin was able to build in his life. Again, like him or dislike him, that's your job. I'm not judging that one way or the other, but the man had an impact. The man was famous. You know, he was T.I. the rapper was talking about Kevin Samuels the other day. Everybody's talking, you know, so I'm talking about Kevin, right? So Kevin had an impact, and part of preserving the legacy and the benefits of your impact is making sure that things are kind of in place and documented, that the life insurance is set, that the estate planning is set, that the instructions are left. So again, so my assignment to you, the thing I would like for all intelligent Black people to think about as you walk away from this conversation, is to just do an experiment that will take you about 10 minutes. And I want you to sit back and say, if I died right now, would my loved ones that I care about be able to get access to my resources? And if the answer is no, then maybe what you can do is type a little email to your favorite cousin. And you ain't even got to be married to do this. I'm not saying you got to go get married and all this stuff, because maybe if you don't meet the right person, that might not be right for you. But at least send an email to your a couple of people you love and trust, your sister and your dad and your son, and just say, hey, I just want you to know that I have an account at Merrill Lynch. I have an account at Bank of America. I got a stash at Acorn, and I have life insurance. And the lady Wanda is my life insurance agent. So if anything ever happens to me, just go back to this email and you can get this information. And this is really true if you have somebody in your house that is dependent on you. You got, man, seriously, you know, people act like, you know, they talk about marriage like, oh, it's just a piece of paper. No, it's more than a piece of paper. It's a legal document. Now, but it does constrain you. So you can't do it. You can't take it lightly, right? It is risky for everybody involved. But it's a legal document that does carry weight. Don't nobody care how many years you spent as his ride or die before he died. Ain't nobody gonna hear none of that. You could cry on the judge's desk all day. He's gonna be like, ma'am, you're not listed as the wife. You're about 2 points above being a side chick. Is that, you know, seriously, they're not, the judge is not gonna acknowledge any of that. He doesn't care how close y'all were or how many times y'all had sex, or how, you know, or the fact that you thought he called you wifey. Like, they're not gonna care. I'm not saying you got to go force people to get married. I'm just saying you got to make sure you know what it is. And I would say that for men in general, given that we have the masculine desire to protect, masculinity is protective. This is another reason why you got to be real careful about anybody who feels like they're defending their position by attacking, right? You ain't got to attack a Black woman to hold your position as a man. You ain't got to attack. Don't get me wrong. I piss off Black women every day. Y'all know that. When I had the whole conversation about Lizzo, y'all saw how many women got mad at me. And I was like, no, I'm sorry, but promoting obesity in the Black community is not healthy. I'm not backing down. I don't care. You can take money away. People took money away. I had a speaking engagement for $10,000 speaking engagement. That's good money, right? In Birmingham. What was it? I forgot what the name of the group was. A.G. Gaston. The A.G. Gaston Society had invited me to come speak. They were going to pay me $10,000. And when they saw the comment that I made where I said, Lizzo should stop letting these record labels promote her as the Jezebel mammy stereotype to the Black community, where obesity is killing hundreds of thousands of our people every year, they canceled me. They canceled my speaking engagement. And you know what I did? I gave them the middle finger and said, I'm not running away from the truth. And a lot of women, particularly women, misunderstood what I was saying as some sort of misogyny. You hate Black women. I said, no, I don't hate Black women. I don't even hate Lizzo. I just hate these damn record labels that are promoting Black people as buffoons and clowns and losers and toxic individuals, and getting you to walk around in a modern day minstrel show. The reason you don't even understand how your hip hop is a modern day minstrel show, and a lot of this entertainment is a modern day minstrel show, is because these white people teaching you at school every day don't even teach you real Black history. They never taught you your history, so you don't understand how half of these damn rappers ain't doing nothing but repeating the same shit they did to y'all in slavery or in 1895. Seriously. So at the end of the day, you know, I think that you can make your position as a man without acting like a bitter little bitch. I think that you can just say, look, this is who I am. I stand on that. That's it. You know, y'all can bicker and argue or whatever, but I'm not going to yell and scream at you. You know, we're not going to have that kind of argument back and forth. Even with my wife, when she gets all like, I just say, well, no, this is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to yell. Like, I can't scream because I lose my voice and it's hard for me and it's draining. So this is what it's going to be. And that's it. I'm not changing my opinion. I respect you. I love you. You're so beautiful today. But I'm not going to sit here and scream and holler at you like I'm wearing panties. Like, I'm not doing that. And sometimes that's the paradox of some parts of the manosphere is they have this real interesting energy where it's like they're like fighting like that, you know, and it's like kind of weird. And I really think that in general, you can be a man without sitting around bitching about women all day. Just pick the right damn woman. Some of these women are raggedy. I agree with you. It's true. I'm sorry. It's just true. Y'all know. A lot of y'all, everybody in here probably knows at least 2-3 raggedy women that you wouldn't marry or you wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. They need help. They need therapy. They've been traumatized or misled or whatever it is. But just pick a quality, classy, decent woman. And then you're going to sit there and you're going to look at all this stuff going on the internet and you're going to just kind of laugh about it. You're going to say, wow, these people really are really going through it. They're really hurting right now. So that's my 2 cents. You know, I'm sorry. I know I brought in the doctor voice, but I had to bring in some uncle voice to just kind of give you a perspective that I hope that you'll hear. And I know everybody isn't going to agree with it, and that's okay. That's how the world works. But I think overall, just to summarize and paraphrase, 1, media takeout does not know how much money Kevin Samuels had. Again, not a legitimate journalistic outlet. You would need confirmation on that. And again, a lot of these media outlets are agenda driven, especially The Root. The Root is ridiculous. The Root, they smear pretty much any masculine black man within a 100-mile radius. They did the same thing to me. The Root tried. They made stuff up, told lies, whatever. That's what they do. That's the world you live in. That's life, right? I don't care. If you hear a stupid rumor about me, go hear it again. Because I don't watch any videos about me on the internet. When Kevin did a video about me, I didn't watch it. Other people do videos about me. I didn't. When Kwame Brown did 10, 15 videos about me, I did not watch one single video. I don't give a shit because I'm not going to get in the middle of your nonsense because I see what kind of a toxic vibrational level you're operating on. I don't want to be a part of any of that, right? Number 2, just because somebody has high income, which Kevin Samuels probably did, that does not mean that they're out of the woods financially. You don't know how much debt he had. You don't know if he had a child support thing. You don't know what's going on with taxes. You don't know what's going on with any other things he was spending money on that might have been very expensive. So if your expenses outweigh your income, you're not going to win. So don't run around saying, like, I know Kevin had money, because you don't know either. Nobody really knows. But at the end of the day, make a plan. Whatever it is you got to do, whatever you do with your life, always make a plan. Because, if you are, one of the benefits of being single is that you get to do what you want to do. And remember, I didn't get married till I was in my 40s. So I totally get it. I understand. I was 33 years old. People are like, why aren't you married yet? I'm like, because I don't want to be married. I was single and I was mingling. I was living my life. I was enjoying my life. But then I got late 40s and I said, okay, let me go ahead and shut it down a little bit and take and shift lifestyles to a space that is more appropriate for where I am in my stage of life. I didn't, again, you got a lot of grown-ass, you got a lot of 50-year-old teenagers on the internet. You have a lot of men and women too, who are in their 40s and 50s who want to live like they're 22 years old. I don't think that works. It's tough. It's tough. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying you got to get married and do all these other things. I'm just saying you got to at least form some sort of connection where you're pouring into relationships for people and individuals that can help hold you down as you hit those older stages of life, right? So again, it doesn't surprise me when a 57-year-old man dies in the arms of a woman that he doesn't even know. Because you're 57, you're not 27. And I would be wrong not to share that honest perspective with you. And I'm sure people will take it how they want to take it, and it's fine. But for those that are able to hear this, that's my warning for you. always be thoughtful about the stage of life that you're in. Always be thoughtful about making the choices that are going to work for you. And never, ever, ever, not in 10 million years, never, never, no, never let any son of a bitch on the internet tell you how to live your life, no matter who they are. You don't do that. You take in the information, process it if you want to, but just know that a lot of this internet influencer game is filled with people that are attention-seeking individuals with significant dysfunctions who are literally getting off on the fact that for the first time in their life, somebody's actually paying attention to what they have to say. And a lot of times, the YouTube channels that get the most viewers, that get the most subscribers, get those subscribers because the dysfunction is so deep, because crazy people are really interesting to watch. That's why white people would put crazy ass Negroes on the Maury Povich show and get them to act like lunatics so that they can make millions of dollars from high ratings. Right? Oprah Winfrey did it back in the day. She would just find crazy people, put them on TV because crazy people are interesting to watch. Reality TV, Real Housewives, get black women, get them half drunk, get them slapping each other and acting like little kids. Then that makes for good TV. And black people are the number one targets of this because you're already kind of seen as the clowns of America. They love it when the rappers behave like buffoons and thugs and lunatics. I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker. You come up on me, dog. I'm gonna fuck you up. Right? They like that, right? Because that's how they see you anyway. That's how they see you anyway. So it is an individual decision as to whether or not you're going to participate in the nonsense or rise above it. This is the last point I'm gonna make to you. It's a slightly deep point, but everybody is intelligent in here, and I'll explain it to you. So I hope that you'll get it. In mathematics, there's a concept called orthogonality. Orthogonality basically means leveling up. Orthogonality, a vector, a mathematical vector. Don't worry about what a vector is, but think of a vector like an arrow, right? So imagine if we're all on the same plane, we're all on the same frequency, the same vibration. And on this piece of paper, I can go this way or that way, right? I have length and width, right? Well, orthogonality is where I don't try to survive on this plane. I just rise up to this plane where I'm literally, it's like, or like if I'm in traffic, imagine if you could elevate above the traffic and your car could fly. Then suddenly everything that was crowded is no longer crowded. Everything that was hard is now easy. Everything that was an obstacle is no longer an obstacle anymore, because you chose to rise to a different level, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to just consider that as you're dealing with the nonsense, as you're dealing with the low vibration energy on the internet, as you're seeing all the chaos and the gender war, you have the ability to become orthogonal to what's going on. You have the ability to rise above it. You have the ability to level up and just say, I'm going to operate in this space where it's a little bit more of a blue ocean, not a red ocean. It's a little bit less crowded. It's a little bit less crazy. It allows me to be who I want to be. And it allows me the freedom of sort of living out my purpose in a way that is not impeded by small, tiny-minded Negroes that used to be around me. And that goes back to what Chuck D said. Chuck D actually commented on my Twitter today. I like Chuck D a lot. And Chuck D said something a long time ago that I really like, where he said, if you can't change the people around you, you got to change the people around you. So when I tell you guys that I don't watch half of this nonsense on the internet, that's kind of my way of changing the people around me. I'll get in here and I'll talk to the right people, the people that really want to do better in life. The rest of this stuff, man, is like, it's like comedy. It's like toxic comedy. So don't get caught up in the toxic comedy, because I don't want your life to become a toxic comedic tragedy. I want your life to be a testimony of victory. Do you get what I'm saying? Give me a yes in the chat if you get what I'm saying. All right, guys, I'm done. I hope you guys have a great day. I hope this conversation benefited you. Again, this is not in any way a diss or applause for Kevin Samuels one way or the other. I'm kind of neutral. I see the good and the bad. And also, I want to remind everybody, don't forget, my wife and I will be in Chicago on the 15th. We are having a Generational Wealth, a drama-free lifestyle event in Chicago. The training will be all about developing drama-free finances, drama-free relationships, and it's a Pillow Talk Live. It's adults only, though, because we want the adults to kind of meet each other and mingle, because some of y'all that are single, y'all need to meet the right people. Some of y'all that are couples need to network with other couples. So that's what it's also designed to do, because my wife is very social. So we designed it that way as well. So if you'd like to join the event, just go to BoyceWatkins.com, or you can go to BoyceandAlicia.com, either one. Also, the Black Business School, totally free. You can join that. You can hit the link in the bio if you're on Instagram, or go to BoyceWatkins.com, and you can actually join the Black Business School and get free access to my Powernomics training that we do every Wednesday. And last but not least, if you want to train your kids about wealth, because generational legacy is very important, feel free to go to financialworkbooks.com. We have some financial workbooks back in stock, so feel free to go take a look at financialworkbooks.com. I'm out of here, guys. Thank you for listening. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out if you could. I appreciate you. I love you. I'll see you soon. Take care now. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, 10, 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Please, none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.